Before we can get started plotting our data points, we need to make sure that we incorporate our data into this web page. Now, if we take a look at the working files folder, the data is contained within a file called survey_data.js. And I've opened that file in my text editor ahead of time. And take a look at it. It's this array of objects, and it's called data. Now, when I incorporate it into my web page, I'll be able to access it just by using the data variable. So what I'll do is at line 7, I'll copy the line that incorporates the D3 library, and just above line 11, I'll paste that line. Now I will replace the call to the D3 library with survey_data.js. And now I can just use the variable called data to get to my survey data. Now we'll head to the code, and I've already created ahead of time an SVG element and a chart group within that. So at the bottom of the code, first thing I'll do is create the X and Y scale for my chart. So we'll deal with the X scale first. Var X equals D3.scale.linear. How do I know it's a linear scale? If I head to the survey data, the X scale is the age, and age is a number from 18 all the way to 74. So let's do the domain. Go to index.html, and just before the semicolon, new line, .domain, open and close parentheses. And I could just do bracket 18, 74, because I know that's the lowest and highest values. But what if the data changed? Well, when we want to get the lowest and highest values from a data set, we'll use the d3.extend function. And open and close parentheses. We'll pass in our data set as the first argument. And because it's contained within an array of objects, we need an accessor function. So function, and open and close parentheses with a D, that's our argument, and then open and close curly braces. What we want to do is access d.age, return d.age. Just before the semicolon, new line, .range, open and close parentheses, and this one's easy. We're going from 0 to the width. That's our x-axis. Let's deal with our y-axis. Var y equals d3.scale.linear. Once again, you might be asking, how do I know it's linear? Well, let's go to the survey data file. And the y-axis is the average scores, and that's for each type of donut: glazed, jelly, powdered, and sprinkles. Now, I happen to know, because I created the data set, that this data is on a scale from 1 to 5. And we wouldn't necessarily use D3 extend here because we want there to be a very clean y-axis. Because what if the minimal value was 1.67? So here we will actually hard code the domain. So new line, just before the semicolon, .domain, open and close parentheses, open and close your brackets, 1, 5. Now, just before the semicolon, new line, .range, you need brackets. Here, we're going from the height of the chart to 0. Now, just as we've done a lot of times within this course, we're going to create a custom plot function to draw our chart. So function plot, open and close parentheses, and brackets. The argument will be params, which will be an object that we pass to plot. And when we call plot, we'll do like so. Plot.call, open and close parentheses. And when we use call with a function, the first argument isn't params. Instead, it's the object that will act as this within a function. So that will be chart, comma, and now params, open and close brackets, and we'll pass the data as the property name, data as the data source. So this is the property name within the object, and this is data that is actually defined in surveydata.js. Back to the index.html file. So within the function, we'll need our enter phase, our update phase, and our exit phase. In the enter phase, we'll type this.select all, and we'll select all of the elements that are classed as point. We'll bind them to params.data, and we'll denote that this is the enter phase. And what we need to do is append circle elements for each of those data points. And we'll give those circle elements the class of point. And remember that the second argument is true. That's our enter phase. Now our update phase, we'll again select all of the elements classed as point. We'll keep it really simple for now. We're going to set the radius attribute, which is r, and then we're just going to put in a hard-coded value of 2. Then we'll set the cx and cy attributes, attr and cx for the first argument. And here we're going to use a function, and the function will grab the value from the age property. So return d.age. Age is the x-axis information, so we need to pass this into our x-scaling function. Now we'll set the cy attribute information, .attr, cy, and function with a d. We're just going to focus on plotting one of the donuts information, and then we'll get to plotting all of the donuts. So we'll work on the glazed donut for now, so d.glazed. And because this is the y information, we'll pass this into our y scale. Save that, and we'll work on the exit phase. So again, we'll select all of the points. So I'll copy this line and paste it. And then the data it is bound to, and denote the exit phase. And on exit, we want to remove any of the elements that are not bound anymore. Okay, save that. I've already got it open in a web page, and I'll refresh. And there we have all of our data points for the glazed donut. It's rather meaningless. It's just really a bunch of points that are scattered all over the place. But it is the beginning to going through the data set and starting to plot out points for each of the different properties which represent the donuts.